Right. Now, only three left. We've got United Kingdom, USA, and Australia. Okay. Only difference now is we have N1 and H1. So be careful there. It's nearest, highest, whatever. Again, I just want the final figure, but these three currencies, all of them are on your list of currency codes to study. So I would like it with the currency code, if you can remember, okay? First two should be okay. Australia may be okay. So you take this NUC, multiply by this, round to this, decimal that. So I'll give you 1 minute for each question. That's 3 minutes in total. Starting now. Right, you should be done. Are we ready?
Yes.
Do we agree?
Sorry, can you please explain again what is the difference between N1 and H1?
Yes. N1 is called half rounding. That means you can go to the nearest one up or down.
Okay.
So if you have 1.2 and the rounding unit is 1, you can have 1 or 2. But if your answer is 1.2, it's nearest to 1. So you can go down. H1, higher 1, means if you've got 1.1, it goes up to the nearest whole 1, i.e. 2. And that is the crucial question to ask. Okay.
Okay.
So are we happy with all this?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, you seem to have the idea. So here are the typical types of question I've noticed in exams. Now, I don't actually get the exam papers, but I do talk to students and colleagues around the world after exams, and this is what we come up with. When calculating a fare in USD and the NUC amount is 200.01, nearest 1.2, what's the final answer? Now, first of all, what does decimal 2 mean?
Two digits after decimal point.
Perfect. Tell me, could it be answer D?
No.
No. Could it be answer B?
No.
Right. In
No.
that case, I'm down to either A or B. Sometimes you don't have to do anything. Read the question and you can get rid of half the answers already. Now, if the
But in
US
this
dollar,
case,
sorry,
sorry.
yeah,
In this case, C and D, both of them, if the answer was correct, they have the same value.
C and
D, they have the same value because 0 doesn't mean any.
but does it have decimal 2?
No. Are we looking at the decimals or the last or the final value?
We can do it both ways, but I'm just saying if it says decimal 2, your answer
Okay.
must have 2 figures after the decimal
Okay.
point, yes?
Okay.
Yeah, so you could get rid of B and D before you even start. On the other hand, yes, let's do it this way. If it's 2000.01, now remember, we can start with 0, 1, 2, 3. So is 2000.0, is it nearer to 2000 or 2001?
2000.
And how many figures after the decimal point?
2.
So 2000, 2 figures. Whichever way you do it, it's still A. People have different ways of looking at questions and answers, okay? Now, yours is more mathematical based. Don't change it because you got the right answer, okay? But if you look at it, get rid of what's not possible, pick what's left, that works as well. Which way works for you personally? Right, when calculating a fare in USD and the NEC amount is 2000.1, nearest 1.2, what would the final answer be? Right, so we've got 2000.1.
A.
A, the same.
It's still A, yeah? But they put these two questions in a row, 0.01, 0.10, because they're trying to make you think, hang on, it must be two different answers. No, it's not. So the exams are sneaky as well, okay? Right, when calculating a fare in USD and the NUC amount is 2000.51, yeah, and we go to the nearest, up or down, decimal 2. If it's 0.51, am I going to go up or down?
Up.
Up. So my answer would be
C.
That's the one. Okay. But again, you could get rid of D and B straight away because it's got the wrong decimals. Right, when calculating a fare for a journey in Thailand, the highest 5 decimal dash, 0, nothing. Which answer is possible? Possible. If it has to end in 5s. Could it be A? Could you end in the number 1?
E. Should be 0. E.
Is E, because it cannot end in 1 because it's 0, 5, 10, 15. So 1 and 11 are out. It has to be this one. Okay? And that's going back to exactly the question you mentioned about the United Arab Emirates. How can it end in 0.74 if the rounding unit is 10? Same type of question. So you're anticipating very well. Right, round the following to the highest 100 decimal dash, and here's the amount. You've got 2310.00. What's the nearest whole hundred up?
I.
2,400.
So you've got 2310.00. Here's the hundreds. What's the nearest 100 higher than this number?
2,400.
Absolutely. Yeah, decimal dash means nothing. Right, the IATA rate of exchange changes how many times a year?
No, 4.
4, excellent. The International Monetary Fund selects the rate of exchange 4 times yearly. True or false? Is it the International Monetary Fund that sets the IROE? Okay, what does the I stand for in IROE?
IATA.
International.
So, do you think the Monetary Fund sets it or IATA sets it?
IATA.
So, do they set it? No,
False.
it's false. Your client has a daughter studying in the USA. He is resident in Bahrain and wishes to pay for the ticket in Bahrain. The NUC amount will be converted into, now I did mention this once before, so let me tell you again. When we convert NUC amounts into the local currency fare, the local currency fare, LCF, is always the country of commencement. So if this young lady is studying in the USA, what is the country of commencement?
Bahrain.
No.
No, she's USA.
Yeah, he wants to pay in Bahrain, but she's coming from the USA. So the country of commencement is the USA. And what currency do they use there?
A.
That's the answer. So this is one of the trickier questions. They say they want to pay here, they're starting their journey there, you're wearing pink shoes. They try to, get everything all mixed up and confused. But just remember, NUC to LCF, local currency fare. The local currency fare is always the currency of the country of commencement, COC. That's all, folks. Yeah. Tell me, do you think just by what we've done today, you're going to remember everything? Just by one lesson, you're going to remember everything? No, I don't think so. Thank you, Miss Fatima. No, you're not going to remember everything. So we are going to obviously do more practice on this. Now, what comes next? Well, we've done rates of exchange, we've done journeys, we've done all sorts. The next thing we're going to do, where are we? 26. Is we're going to make a little start on something called BSR. Now, if I change NUCs, I'm going to change NUCs into a local currency pair. I always multiply by the IATA rate of exchange, always. But if I'm going to change a currency to a currency, yeah, then I have to use something called the BSR, Bankers Selling Rate. So we'll just share the screen on this. And as usual, just give me a shout when you can see it.
Don't.
Right. So intended learning outcomes first. This means at the end of it, what are you supposed to know? Right, we've already done to work out whether it's 2, 3, or no decimal points. Country of commencement is where you start your journey. Neutral unit of construction, it means it's the pretend money used for fare calculations. We've looked at half and full rounding adjustment. Half is up or down, and full is going up. Now we're just going to have a quick look at converting one currency to another. Do you still have your calculators handy? Actually, no, I'll tell you what we'll do. Right. I'll leave those for you for homework. Right, converting from a currency to another currency. We calculate the NUCs into the local currency pair or local selling pair. LSF is local selling pair. Okay, so NUC multiplied by the ROE for the country of commencement local selling pair. That never changes. If you do the foundation, same rule. If you come back and do the consultant, same rule, always. If, however, like the last example, we've got someone starting their journey in the USA, but it wants to be paid for in Bahrain, okay? If the journey starts in the USA, this is still the rule. But how many of you now in your pockets, do you have US dollars or Bahrain dinars?
Dinars.
Dinars. So in Bahrain, we would prefer to pay in dinars. So now we've got to change that US dollars to Bahrain dinars. So what we do then is we take the local selling fare, use the BSR, banker's selling rate, to convert it into the currency of the country of payment. Okay, so there's a couple of steps here. NUCs multiply by IROE, local selling fare or local currency fare. If you want to change that to another currency, then you add the step BSR to CCOP, currency of the country of payment. Okay. Again, if you're doing this on Sabre, it actually works this out for you, gives you the equivalent fare paid. But here's the two new codes: BSR, banker selling rate, CCOP, currency of the country of payment. Okay. What do we use it for? Fares, other charges that are charged in another country, but we want to pay in a different country. It could be a tax. It could be baggage. It could be anything you would pay the airline for. They will charge you in the currency of the country of commencement. And then it's converted into the currency of the country of payment. Okay? So key learning point, when a fare must be paid in a currency different from the currency of the COC, country of commencement, the BSR is the exchange rate to use. So let's have a look. A passenger fare in the USA is USD 2,100, right? And the passenger wants to get their dad or mum to pay for it in Bahrain. If they start in the USA, we change the NUC to US dollars, okay? So we get USD 2,100. Then we have to change the 2,100 US dollars into Bahrain dinar. The Sabre system will give you the BSR. The BSR changes daily, okay? Because this is a banker's selling rate. And banks, the currencies change every day. So really important. If you've got a transaction with a customer like this, you have to tell them every day, this fare is going to change until you pay for it. Once it's paid for, you're okay. But when we convert the amount today, it may be more or less tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah, depends on the rate of exchange on the day. So we would take the 2,100 US dollars, multiply by 0.3777, and we get 791. Okay. And then we're back to this higher 1.2. So if I've got 1.7, yeah, could that be the answer? Could it be 1.7? Okay. No, it couldn't. It has to be a complete one. So if it's 1.7 and I have to go up, this final answer should be
792.
792. And how many figures after the decimal point? What does it say here? Decimal, how many?
2.
2. So I want 0, 0. You see, you're spotting when things are not right. Let's have a look at this one. A passenger is in Bahrain. So now they're going to start their journey in Bahrain. But someone's going to pay for the ticket in the USA. Okay. Again, when you get the Sabre thing, it's always multiply. If you get the BSR for another transaction, maybe it's multiply, maybe it's divide. But if you get it from Sabre, it's always multiply. So the BSR 1 BHD equals 2.6 USD. So the Bahrain dinar fare is 2,100. Multiply by that, we get that. Now we're going to the nearest one, not the highest one, the nearest. So 3.6. What's that nearest to? 3 or 4?
4.
4. How many figures after the decimal point? Here? How many figures after the decimal point?
2.
2. 4.00. So this one's okay, don't worry. Right, taxes. Taxes are another thing that we have to charge in one currency and pay in another. For instance, you've got a passenger going to the UK and there's a UK airport tax of 5 GBP. I'm going to have to change that into Bahrain dinar to put it on a ticket in Bahrain. Taxes, we're going to look at in a bit more detail later, next lesson. There's a tax for the USA, USD3, and the code for the tax is US. Every tax has the currency you will have to collect the tax, the amount, and then there will be a two-letter code saying which tax, because some countries can have 3, 4, 5 taxes. Bahrain, we're sensible. We have one tax. Everything's in that, and the government sorts that out. So we've got USD3 times by this, We take 3 multiplied by that, we get 1.31, highest one, 1.1, higher one is 2. So we're going to charge BHD2 and the tax code US here. So we've got the payment currency, the amount we are paying in that currency, and the code for the tax. Okay. Here's a ticket. Okay. This is how taxes are often shown on a ticket. Now, CHF, the fare CHF, that means everything is CHF. They're not going to put CHF, 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 CHF. It's all on one line, it's all CHF. But you've got the amount, tax code, amount, tax code, amount, tax code. Okay? So that just shows you how it looks on an e-ticket. We are going to have to do some actual tax codes. Okay? Again, if you're using Sabre, yeah, or any GDS, it's quite easy because the system works it out for you. But if you put together a complicated itinerary, or you're going to give the passenger 2 options, you can go this way or this way. If you go this way, you pay those taxes for those countries. But if you go this way, you pay those taxes. You know, sometimes you have to be creative. Then you have to be able to read the tax box. And when I say the tax box, I mean the information on a tax. It will tell you what taxes there are, where you have to pay for them, how much. There will be something called exemptions. Do you know what the word exemption means?
Yes.
Yeah, it means you don't have to do it. So very often, not always, but very often, infants are exempt from paying tax. They don't have to pay the tax. Okay? When they charge you for a tax, yeah, because it's a tax, they don't say the tax charge is, they say a tax is levied, L-E-V-I-E-D. A tax is levied. Okay? It's not a word we use in normal day-to-day life. When you get on the bus, the bus company charges you a fare. They don't levy the fare. I mean, they do really, but right. We got a question here. Why do you use Bahrain dinars with only 2 figures after the decimal point? Okay, this goes back to what I was saying before. Whatever information they give you, even if you know it's wrong, just follow it. So if they say for Bahrain dinar decimal 3, you use 3 figures after the decimal point. If they say Bahrain dinar decimal 2, use that. Okay? If you follow the information given in the exam, you cannot be wrong. Because some systems still, when you get the e-ticket, it shows 3 figures after the decimal point. But I think Saber's e-tickets only show 2 figures after the decimal point. Because at one time, everything was 3 figures. Now they're jiggling it around. So the safest thing to do is whatever they say, do it. If they say $1 is 25 BHD, now we know that's rubbish. But if that's what it says on the exam paper, please use it, because then you cannot be wrong. Okay? Okay, apparently Saber is still 3. Maybe it's Galileo that's 2. You know, it changes, but the main point is read the question, read the information, follow what they tell you. I did a good question with my foundation class. They've got their finals this week. And I did a flight time, flight duration. And it was something like, I can't remember, from North America to Europe. And if you use the information given, the flight takes 35 minutes, which is obviously rubbish. Everyone got it right because they only used the information in the question, even though they knew it was wrong and the answer is not possible. Okay? They followed what was there. They got the point. So we're quite happy with that. So anyway, we're going to have to read about taxes. When do you charge for them? And we're going to convert them, and we're going to use the BSR, and we'll do a little bit more. Now, when I send you this mini PowerPoint on the BSR, there's a couple of questions at the beginning that we haven't done on NUCs and IROEs. Might be a good idea to have those done before the next lesson. Next lesson, like I said, we're going to do taxes, but please remember, the third part of the day is a review test, okay? Now, this is the only time we are going to do a review test online, active. The reason is because it's your first one. If there's any hiccups, if you don't understand how the question is done, you don't know what to press, I will be here and help you. After this run through, you will get more, but I will just tell you, here is a test. I want it done within the next 3 days. Yeah, you decide on your time. Of course, you can message me if you have a problem, but it won't be using Classroom or Zoom time, okay? Because to be honest, I prefer to use Zoom time to explain things, to talk, to discuss, not to sit here drinking a cup of coffee, okay? So everybody ready for Thursday?
Yes.
Let's be ready.
Good. I don't want to open the class on Thursday and find only 2 people are logging in, okay? Be brave, be brave.
It's the weekend on Thursday, huh? Thank you.
Sorry?
It's weekend Thursday, so there you know.
Yeah, well, don't worry, you can recover afterwards. But remember, the other thing is, remember, these are review tests. None of the marks affect your IATA certificate, okay? So if you get 0, it just tells you you have to work a bit harder.